The lineup for the first race then, Dan Eves on pole position ahead of Gavin Smith, but Ivan Muller lines up in third and Matt Neal lines up in fifth position. Watch out for Jason Plato. He has to start back in 10th place, picking up a 6th position penalty after his exploits at Silverstone. And Fiona Leggett starts at the back of the grid. She failed to set a time in qualifying with gearbox problems. All set to go. Is Matt Neal going to become champion in the first race of the day? The light goes out. Dan Eves makes a good start from pole position. Gavin Smith goes with him, but Ivan Muller's in there as well. Ivan Muller trying to slot up into second place. Now, will he get some help from his teammate here? No. Gavin Smith takes that second place. It's Eves ahead of Smith and Ivan Muller. Matt Neal's got away cleanly in fourth.
Matt Neal did get away cleanly, but he wasn't as close to the back of Ivan Muller as he'd like. Howell's getting muscled out on the outside, put right out on the grass there, but the first three away, and as you say, Gavin Smith didn't give room for Muller on the first corner.
Gareth Howell and Luke Hines bashing door panels as they come through Graham Hill Bend, but they both stay on the circuit. There's Rob Collard trying to join in as well as they turn into the left-hander. This is Surtees. It leads out onto the longest straight on the Grand Prix circuit, and the race leader is Dan Eves. A good start from him, but also a good start from Matt Neal.
Yeah, I think maybe Muller's decided to let Gavin Smith have a go, have a real attack at Dan Eves to start with. If he's not quicker, I'm sure Muller will flash his lights and he'll get out of the way very quickly because Muller needs the points. But initially, he's just going to let him have a go. And Matt Neal's not attacking the back of Muller, so he's safe.
There you can see further down the order, the Seat of Luke Hines is in 8th place, Rob Collard running in 9th, James Kay is in 10th, and then Richard Williams in 11th place. But Dan Eves from pole position, just trying to make that little bit of a break. It's not happening so much. Colin Turkington a bit wide there as he came out of Sterling's corner, and that gave Howell an opportunity to get alongside. This is on board Plato right behind them, and Turkington just manages to fend off Howell. This could give an opportunity though for Jason Plato as these two fight for position. This is for 5th place, all happening behind Matt Neal, and Jason Plato will try and go up the inside of Turkington here. Very, very close. Look at the wheel coming off the ground. Jason Plato and Gareth Howell have both got past Colin Turkington.
Well, a great onboard shot there. Turkington just slightly wide at clearways. The better straight line speed of Gareth Howell took him alongside. He just managed to push his nose up the inside along the start-finish line, and Plato was there to follow him through. There was no way back on line for Turkington.
Luke Hines in 9th place, keeping the pressure on Rob Collard in the MG in 8th position. But Gareth Howell, who's gained that 5th place, will now perhaps be able to go after his own teammate Matt Neal and give him some more support. Team Alpha's all running well at the moment. They're running 1st, 4th and 5th as we look at Matt Neal, and Jason Plato having a little look at the inside of Howell. Jason Plato makes the move on Gareth Howell. These two have had a couple of comings together already, even though Howell hasn't been around much. Plato gets past, and that was a good move from Jason. It looked pretty clean, and he's into 5th place.
That was an excellent move. Howell not doing his job there. He didn't close the door, and Collard is on the back of this group. Now look, there's Rob Collard. He's not friends with anybody. He'll go for everything. So it's starting to just build up, isn't it? It's starting to get awkward for Matt Neal.
10 laps have been completed. We're on to lap number 11 out of 14. As things stand at the moment, Matt Neal will be in great shape to take the title, but not in this race. He'll probably be able to take it in the second race of the day. He is shadowing every move that his rival Ivan Muller makes, and at the moment content to stay behind, and behind him it's Plato, then Howell, and then the man we're riding with, that's Rob Collard.
Yeah, Rob's looking up the inside here of Howell as well. He's got a good run. Is Rob going to do it? He's tight, braking on the turn. He's got alongside. They're going to come out side by side. If Howell doesn't go on the grass, I think Howell must be on the grass because Collard was right up to the edge of the track. Yeah, so Collard's got through.
Jason Plato has a look down the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. They're side by side. Collard's off. Collard's off behind them, and I think Jason Plato has taken Matt Neal on the approach to Druids. Collard is out of this one, but Matt Neal just having to give a little bit of space there to Jason Plato, and Plato has now come up into 3rd position. The safety car is standing by. I think we may see the safety car on circuit. Ivan Muller now has a buffer between himself and Matt Neal, but it is Jason Plato who's just going for every place that he can get. So the cars now having seen the safety car board.
Oh, look.
Rob, what are you doing? That was to Gareth Howell.
Yeah, it was. He's not happy, and I mean, we need to see it again, obviously, to see. But one thing this is going to do is close the pack up. Let's have a look, though. We can see what actually happened. This is on the approach. Well, we're on board with Collard, and he's going for the apex, and there's a tap from the rear three-quarter. Clearly, though, he may not have been aware how close Howell was. This is maybe a better angle. Look at the back of your screen, not at the pass Plato's making. Well, yeah, difficult to see, really, because we couldn't see the braking area for that one.
All set for the restart here. Dan Eaves will lead them round to the line. Does he know the safety car's in? I think he must do. Surely he'll wait. He can choose when to go. It's up to the race leader to decide, but he's certainly waiting. I'm not sure. Is he aware that this race...
Yes, he's aware. He's just playing the game. The car's pulled in. He knows the car's gone in. The team have told him. He's just literally waiting to decide. He can decide when he goes.
Yeah, well, where's he going to go then? Where's he going to go?
There he goes.
Right.
Sorry, I think you've done that really well, because, you know, Gavin Smith was just caught napping there.
Now look, Gavin Smith in second place for Vauxhall, Ivan Muller in third for Vauxhall, and then Jason Plato right behind. Will Gavin Smith now be given the order to move out of the way? Everybody gets through Paddock Hill Bend cleanly enough. Matt Neal has found himself a bit of space, so he's safe at this stage as they head down the hill. It's Dan Eaves that leads, Gavin Smith in second, Ivan Muller third, Jason Plato in fourth, Matt Neal in fifth place, and right behind him then it's his teammate Gareth Howell, who's claimed back that spot after contact with Rob Collard at Paddock Hill Bend. Behind Howell we've got Colin Turkington, there he is, Luke Hines, James Kay, then James Pickford. Look, Muller's down the inside into Sterling's. I think he may be going through to take second place. Ivan Muller, a bit of a late lunge, but I think maybe Gavin Smith will have given him the space as they come down into Clearways. Yeah, Muller's into second place. No surprise there then, Tim. He's got the position, and Smith now having to defend from Jason Plato. So Matt Neal will lose another couple of points to Ivan Muller, but again, it's not time to panic. Here goes Plato. Plato on Smith, very tight turning in. Look at them pushing each other round. Oh, and Jason's done another one. That was another beautiful move.
That was a peach of a move, wasn't it? I mean, he was right up the inside, but didn't lean, and look, it's all going on now.
Matt Neal's gone through as well.
And so too is Gareth Howell trying to get through, but he's on the outside. Matt Neal was forced into making a move there because the gap just opened up for him.
Yeah, that's right, and it's gained Matt Neal a place, so now there is only one car again between himself and Ivan Muller. It's Jason Plato, but Matt will be happy about that because he's in a good position, and Gavin Smith, they're just losing out. If you get boxed out and pushed out by one car, it's so much easier for the next car to follow through, and that's what Matt Neal's done.
Yeah, one of the Seats I saw trading a lot of blue smoke. I think that it may be Luke Hines, but one of them certainly through, but Matt really had to go through. Oh no,
Gavin Smith.
Yeah, he's had a disastrous last lap.
Oh, and he comes back on just ahead of his own teammate Colin Turkington, who probably had to lift off a bit. We are on the final lap, and Dan Eaves is going to take victory in the first race of the day. Ivan Muller is going to take second place if it all stays as it is at the moment. Jason Plato third, and Matt Neal won't wrap up the title in this race, but he is another step closer, and it should be going his way in race number 2. Here comes Dan Eaves. Dan Eaves has driven absolutely perfectly from pole position. It's another victory for Team Alford. It's Dan Eaves who takes the win. Second goes to Ivan Muller. Third to Jason Plato, and fourth position to Matt Neal. Job done for now for Matt Neal, but he's got to wait a little longer before he can really get his hands on that championship trophy. So Dan Eaves takes the first win of the day ahead of Ivan Muller and Jason Plato, but Matt Neal held on to a sensible fourth place ahead of Gareth Howell. Then Gavin Smith, who dropped away in the last couple of laps, he finished ahead of Turkington, Kay, Pickford and Jason Hughes in 10th position.
So the Drivers' Championship stays alive, just with Ivan Muller closing the gap by 4 points. After the break, we will hear from the Frenchman and show you exactly what it takes to drive a touring car with our Ben getting a go around Brands.
This is the lineup then. It's Dan Eaves and Ivan Muller on the front row of the grid together. Team Halfords and VX Racing, these two teams that have been hard at it all year long. Jason Plato lines up third, and Matt Neal is in fourth position. Just got to score some points here to wrap up the title. On the next row, it's Gavin Smith, who lost out in the closing lap of the previous race. Colin Turkington, his teammate, is up there with him on row number 3. watch the lights go out. And Dan Eves tries to get away from pole position. Yvan Muller makes a good start on the outside. The Frenchman's going for it. We said he had to. And he's going to try and take the lead into the first corner. But Dan Eves is right with him. He leans on him. They're side by side. A big slide from Yvan Muller. They're in. OK, but Turkington's not. Turkington's off in the gravel trap on the outside. Dan Eves lead from Yvan Muller in second place. Jason Plato in third.
Yes, Muller tried so hard to get in front there on the start. He knew that was his best chance. He wants maximum points, but Eves duked it out with him had the inside line. That's Turkington with damage, looks like, to the engine from going through the gravel trap. Well, he's got a puncture as well.
Oh, problems for Turkington. Coming down under the bridge to complete the first lap. It's Dan Eves, Yvan Muller, Jason Plato right behind him, and Matt Neal just struggling a little bit on that opening lap, so he's got some work to do from sixth place, but he doesn't need to take any risks.
No, but he's already looking at getting up the inside of Kay. He doesn't want to be stuck. And here we go, Plato down the inside of Smith.
No, down
inside of Muller, apologies.
That's right, he's taken second place. This is bad news from Yvan Muller's point of view. Less points available for third. So Yvan Muller not preparing to fight it out quite as much as you might have expected there. He's dropped down to third place. Fourth position is Gavin Smith and another Vauxhall. Then in fifth place, we've got James Kay. One of the best runs we've seen from James Kay. He's ahead of Matt Neal. Then it's James Pickford and Luke Hines. Jason Hughes, currently in 10th, that all-important 10th place that determines pole for race 3. It's Rob Collard.
Yeah, Rob fighting his way back through the field. You can see some fluid on the ground there. There was definitely fluid on the inside of the track around Stirling's there, Surtees there, so hopefully it isn't further around the track on the faster corners of Hawthorne and Westfield. That is the oil flag at Hawthorne. It's not what a driver wants to see approaching that at 140 miles an hour.
Matt Neal's coming under a bit of pressure here, Tim, from James Pickford just behind him in the other Seat. And we've seen the Seat is quick. Matt Neal has got his hands full, I think.
He has, whether he's driving a little bit too tentatively in this or not, but he certainly needs to stay out of trouble and possibly hope for the race to come back to him a little bit further on.
Rob Collard, meanwhile, oh dear, is battling once again with that Team Halford's car. Let's hope they don't have contact like they did earlier on today. Back under the bridge once again, and it's Dan Eves that leads by just under a second from Jason Plato in second place. Yvan Muller is in third place, but we're watching James Kay, then Matt Neal in the Team Halford's car, and these guys are running fifth and sixth, and behind them in seventh is James Pickford. Nothing much to choose between them. Matt Neal decides to go for it down the inside. Got to keep it clean, and James Kay doesn't try and fight it out too much, so it's a good move from Matt Neal.
Yeah, I think he had to do that. He knew he had the faster car. A bit like the first race, he took just a couple of laps to get the tyres up to full pressure, full grip. But now he's moving forward. He had to do that because of the Seat back up behind him. He knows he's got a faster car, and there's a gap in front, he can close it up. I was surprised Muller making it so easy for Plato to get through, but Plato's passing into paddock this weekend has been exemplary.
Let's just take another look at this one, Tim. It looked pretty easy.
Yeah, well, it's not easy. It's over the bump in the inside of the track, but basically Matt just waited till James went on the brakes, let the car run on a car's length extra, and then jumped on the brakes. But he didn't run wide. It was a good, clean pass, and full marks also to James to giving him room.
Oh, that was Matt Neal on the grass coming out of Hawthorne's. My goodness, he doesn't need that. Behind them, there's a big battle going on as well, but Matt Neal suddenly, that will have caused the heart to flutter a little bit. He's where he needs to be. He doesn't need to take the big gambles now. He can wrap this championship up in this race, but not by doing things like that.
No, look at this. Look at the background. Matt Neal coming through just too quickly, running out of road. Just out on the grass, fortunately not hitting that tyre barrier like in the first race with Gavin Smith, but gets it back on and he's building his pace. He needs to get into a rhythm. He's driving a little bit flustered, needs to get into a good rhythm.
Still plenty of time to go in this race. Across the line, and the race leader's completed 3 laps. It is Dan Eves. Yvan Muller there, the Frenchman, under a bit of pressure from his own teammate. I don't think Gavin Smith is going to necessarily try and overtake as yet, because he's trying to help Muller to get as many points as possible. Now, further back, you can see Luke Hines and Rob Collard are having a good 1-2 session there. Around the top of the hairpin, you can see how close the MG is. The green stripes down its centre, and ahead of him, Luke Hines in the Seat, now with a fresh engine after the problems he suffered in the first race. So far, Hines is managing to fend off the MG driver. Ahead of them both is Gareth Howell in 8th place. Collard is in 10th, but maybe trying to get one position better. Remember, 10th place in this race will give them pole position for race 3.
Absolutely, and it looked like Hines ran wide there at Surtees, but he's got the inside line and a fast car down the straight, and Collard there just can't get up the inside. But will he cut back to the inside? We saw him do that successfully in the first race. He's trying to do it now. He gets a beautiful run through Hawthorns. That MG works really well through that corner, and that's a really good pass by Rob.
Yeah, it's where he passed Colin Turkington earlier as well. So Rob Collard flying through the fast corners out in the woods here on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Great stuff from Collard, but how much further can he get? He's now into 9th place. Will he try that much harder, or will he look for a front row start for race 3? Dan Eaves leads, Jason Plato second, there's Muller, then it's his teammate Gavin Smith, and Matt Neal has closed up on these two Vauxhalls. He's on the attack a little more, he doesn't need to push that much. Where he is right now will do perfectly. He'll be champion if it finishes like this.
He will, he doesn't need to get involved. The car's come to him, he's closed up that gap, set a very quick lap on that lap, and he's really in a comfortable position. He's actually dropped Pickford massively on the... Oh, he's going to go for it.
Oh, he's taking a gamble. He's gone past Smith.
Well, fair play to him, fair play to him. Perhaps Matt just feels if he's got the car under him and he's got in the zone, he needs to just carry on the progress. If he who hesitates is lost sometimes, and it's good to see.
Well, it is good to see. It is his natural style. Let's just watch it once again here, Tim.
Yeah, very good on the brakes. He didn't really have a run. Look at this. He just waits till Smith brakes and then just lets the car on a little bit on the brakes and brakes later. But he doesn't lock up and he doesn't run wide. He holds it in tight. That Halfords car is really good on the brakes, and I really don't think that Gavin Smith expected him to even challenge there.
Well, it's been the story of the season. The team has got this car working so well, the Honda Integra Type R. And Gareth Howell, his teammate, has set the fastest lap in this race. He's a few cars further back. He's running in 8th place currently. But it just gives you an idea. We've got one of them leading the race. Another one has set fastest lap. And Matt Neal's in the 3rd one, doing a fantastic job, doing plenty enough here to wrap up the title in race number 2.
Yeah, Muller must be absolutely distraught. He's done everything he can. I do feel that Muller's driven the wheels off that car all year. Got the best possible results for it. Obviously, from being up in the championship, he's always had to carry weight as well. But there's no doubt about it, that Halfords Honda Integra is just a faster car.
Yeah, and it looks as though Matt Neal may well go on the attack behind. You could see that Gareth Howell putting a move on James Kay, and that is for 7th position, as through Paddock Hill Bend go our 2 championship protagonists, Ivan Muller. You can see Vauxhall with the banner on their windscreens declaring themselves as the 2005 manufacturers champions. So Vauxhall still have claimed that manufacturer's title. It's the 5th year in a row they've done that. But the driver's title is heading towards Matt Neal if things stay as they are right now. Muller glances in his mirror and he sees the car of Matt Neal all over his rear bumper.
Yeah, that car's taking some very tight lines, got plenty of grip. Muller's got the car just drifting all the way through paddock. Matt Neal's car holding a tight line. Muller not leaving the door open. That's Di Neal, that's Matt's mother. She's seen a million races. Well, she looks very relaxed. She gets a cheer, but believe me, the butterflies will be turning inside her stomach.
Look how close they are running together now, Ivan Muller and Matt Neal. Nothing to choose between them. They're 3rd and 4th in this race. It's still being led by Dan Eaves, Plato in 2nd, but this is the race we're watching. Through Sheen Curve, up towards the left-hander at Stirling, through this corner at about 70 miles an hour. You wouldn't think so looking at it. It's a sort of 90-degree left, but it's a fast corner, a little bit of banking to help. And Ivan Muller still in 3rd place, but waving goodbye to his championship hopes if Matt Neal stays where he is right now.
Yeah, and Gareth Howell, his teammate, is catching up the back of this bunch. He's really going to try and get through past Pickford and Smith and get on the back of Matt's bumper and help him. There you see him, the fastest man on the track, Gareth Howell, at the back of this group. He could really come to Matt's aid here if he can get through past Pickford.
Yes, let's see whether he can manage that. Howell looking towards the outside, just in the background there, to see if he can get past Pickford, but there wasn't quite the chance to do that. Let me just tell you that Luke Hines is currently in 10th place. 10th position will be pole for race 3, so the Seat driver looking in good shape for that. Ahead of him is Rob Collard.
There's Karen, Matt's fiancé. Both he and his teammate Dan Eaves got engaged earlier this year. They were fighting it out off the track and on the track.
Look at the leaders together, close as well. Dan Eaves was very close. Nice touch! My goodness, look at that. Matt Neal and Ivan Muller actually touched there, coming up towards Hawthorns. They both stay alive, stay going, but I thought that could be tears then, and look right behind Gavin Smith getting involved as well as James Pickford.
Muller's got a puncture. Muller's got a left front puncture from that contact down the hill.
And that's
look,
it.
there it goes. That's the championship over.
That is it, Matt Neal is champion. Ivan Muller had to score 9 points more than Matt Neal. Matt Neal's done it!
The team know it, the team know it.
Team Halfords have won the driver's title.
And look at ever the professionals on the pit wall writing down the lap times. I think I'd have thrown the book on the floor and eaten the pen. They've won it, they've won the championship, that move. Well, that's Kathy, that's Barry Plowman's wife, the chief engineer. They've won the championship, there's no doubt about it. That contact between Muller and Neal, unprecedented. Muller didn't need to put the force on the move on it, but he caused him a puncture and he's out.
Well, drama indeed. What a way for the title to be settled. You know, look at this behind them as well. Great race going on there between James Pickford, who's just nipped past Gavin Smith, though Pickford has come up into 4th position, and the Seats really are flying here. Pickford ahead of Smith and Gareth Howell right behind, but Matt Neal just cruising now, really. Look inside the Vauxhall pit, and it's a punctured left front, as you spotted, Tim. They get that change, maybe send him on his way again, but it's all over in terms of the championship. After 14 years of trying, Matt Neal has wrapped up the title. Oh, he's going to celebrate for a long time tonight, but look, his teammate might still win this race. We're at half distance, and Jason Plato still keeps the pressure on Dan Eaves.
Yeah, Plato's still looking to win this race. Oh, he's gone through!
Wow.
There's a problem there for Eaves. Did he run wide, or has he got a gearbox problem or something? He lost some speed, certainly coming out Westfield.
So drama again as Jason Plato takes the lead here, and Dan Eaves suddenly slowing on the exit of Westfield's corner. It didn't look as though he'd made a mistake, it just suddenly the car had no pace, so he's still going, not heading into the pits. 1 and 2, 3rd place now for Matt Neal. 4th position for James Pickford, and in 5th place is Gareth Howell. This is when it's all happened, Tim.
Well, I mean, either Ivan didn't know that Matt was there, but he just moved over when the cars were parallel and didn't need to do it. He could have held the inside. That was a reaction in the garage when they saw the puncture, but that briefest of contact was enough to cause a puncture.
Well, and what a way for it all to be settled. These two have fought so hard on track throughout the year. It's been a great battle between Ivan Muller and Matt Neal. And Ivan, who's been runner-up in the championship 3 times, the champion on 1 occasion, but this time he's going to be runner-up again. He's going to be a 4 times runner-up because it's Matt Neal's turn to take the title, and I think just about everybody will be delighted about that. He's worked so hard over the years, so has that team. But look at Jason Plato. He's got past Dan Eaves. Something happened, we don't quite know what, to Eaves to slow him on that last lap, and he's going quickly now. He seems to be able to sustain the sort of pace that Jason's proving, but something definitely went wrong.
I think I'm fairly sure that would have been a gear selection problem or something. There's no other reason for him to have just lost momentary pace, because he certainly picked it up. Here's Rob Collard fighting his way through, trying to get back past Smith, but yeah, I think that's the only reason. But irrespective of what happens now to Ivan Muller, he cannot win the championship now. He's out of it.
Yep, it's all over for him. Look at Rob Collard, meanwhile, chasing after Gavin Smith. This is for a 6th place. Collard's worked his way up the order pretty well, but a puff of smoke as he changes up there, but he's driven well, starting at the back, now into 7th and attacking for 6th place. Currently in 10th place is Jason Hughes, and as we've lost Muller from this race, it's moved everybody up 1, and that means that the privateer MG driver, Jason Hughes, is now 10th, and Fiona Leggett is in 11th. She's only 1.5 seconds behind Jason Hughes, so there could be a good tussle to continue for 10th place and pole position for race number 3. But it's Jason Plato that leads this race by 0.6 of a second over Dan Eaves, and the Seats, with both Plato and Pickford in the top 4 at the moment, are showing a great deal of pace. Luke Hines looking set to start. Oh, the next race from the front row. Smith was a bit wide. They've got to watch that. They'll get the warning flag if they run too wide there.
Yeah, don't run on Mr. Palmer's grass is the answer. But Plato looks to have got this one under control. He's so good leading from the front. He's driven really well today. That car going well, made some good passes. Eaves just trying to stay with him to put the icing on the cake.
Yeah, good effort. Jason Plato just keeping it nice and smooth as he comes out of Westfield corner, not using the curb too much, all under control. And he was very happy with the balance of the car after that first race. He said, told me he was a little bit nervous in the early laps when the tyres were cold, but as the tyre temperature came up, he was very, very happy with the way the car was performing. And his engineer, Eddie Hinckley, came over and said, any changes? And he said, no, I don't think so. Happy with the way it feels.
Yeah, I think quite a few people fairly happy with their cars, and none more so than the Halfords team. We're seeing them very, very dominant here. I mean, it's interesting, wasn't it? Start of the race, Matt Neal slightly nervy, made a couple of mistakes, then got into his normal self, started attacking. Fortune favours the brave. He who hesitates is lost, and it came to him, didn't it?
Yeah, and what emotion there is in that Team Halfords pit now. It's all going to come out, isn't it? After all the pressure, it's going to be released.
You have to remember, this is a family-run team. Yes, it's a business. Yes, they have commercial partners who they look after fantastically, but essentially, it's a family-run business that have been together for a long time.
Yeah, and what this is going to mean to them is just a huge achievement to take on the works-back teams of Vauxhall and Seat and beat them. Straight fight this season it's been, and through most of the year, of course, it's been only the two Team Halfords cars, the third car only coming in the last couple of meetings. Dan Eves and Matt Neal in the early part of the season showing fantastic pace, both winning races, and then Gareth Howell coming along and winning last time out. And look at Howell now, he's putting some pressure here on James Pickford. This is for fourth position between two youngsters trying to prove themselves in touring cars. James Pickford in the Seat and Gareth Howell in the Team Halfords Honda.
Yeah, they're really at it, aren't they? Both of them really at it. I mean, Gareth Howell has driven fantastically on his return to touring cars. Certainly if Dynamics run a third car next year, he's going to be in the plum seat to drive it, and he deserves the break. He's been quietly sitting on the sidelines this year, hoping to get in a third car, and grasped his opportunity. Pickford very much the same, although he's had all year to prove himself in that Seat, and really certainly in the second half of the year he's come strong.
11 laps completed out of the 14. We go on to lap number 12. It's Jason Plato leading from Dan Eves and Matt Neal, who's heading for the title. It's James Pickford here in fourth position with Gareth Howell chasing him. Gavin Smith behind them. Then it's James Kay in seventh, Rob Collard in eighth, Luke Hines in ninth, and Jason Hughes still in 10th, side by side here as they come down the hill, but Pickford has the inside line. Howell goes for a late lunge down the inside. Oh, there's contact. Pickford's off and Howell is through. Well, I wonder what the clerk of the course will make of that. Powell was already penalised today for what happened in race one with Rob Collard. They might take a look at that one as well.
Well, I'm sure they will. I mean, he made a genuine attempt to pass by diving up the inside, but it's so difficult to pass there because if the car in front hasn't seen you and just turns in, look, he's made a genuine attempt, but the car in front has turned on a very normal line, and obviously contact's inevitable there. The braking distance isn't long enough to get alongside, so you'd have to say that was really an unavoidable accident, but Howell will be embarrassed, and Collard's just gone off at the same point.
All right, well, we'll have to keep an eye on that because things could change for that 10th place. We'll have to see. Let's just take a look at what's been going on. Fiona Leggett was trying to get herself into 10th place, and she hit the back of Rob Collard. Oh, he's being used for target practice today, isn't he?
Well, it's exactly the same manoeuvre, wasn't it? I think Collard was held up a little bit at Druids and was therefore slow down the hill, and Fiona sensed the opportunity and she went for it, but it's a really marginal place to overtake that.
Very tight indeed. On board now with Matt Neal, and it's nearly there, Matt. You just want to finish this race, and it's all sorted out. Look how close he is to the back of Dan Eves now. The two teammates running in formation. Ahead of them is Jason Plato, and he's opened up a fairly useful lead over these two. But Matt Neal can just enjoy the last part of this race. He's been working for 14 years to get to this point where he's wrapped up the championship, and after winning that cheque for £250,000 back in 1999, and he became the first ever outright winner of a race as an independent. He wasn't works back then either, and he won that cheque for £250,000. I think this is going to be even more important to him.
No question about it. That was a sweet victory, and financially very, very good, but nothing can compare to the teamwork, the effort that they've put into winning this, the ultimate crown, the championship, the Drivers' Championship, and the first independent to do it since 1991, the year before I won it, when Will Hoy won it in a BMW. Quite an achievement against the big teams of Vauxhall and Seat this year.
Yeah, a tremendous achievement. These two guys continuing on their way towards a podium finish for each, and Gareth Howell, who's running in 4th place, then Gavin Smith, James Pickford, James Kay, Luke Hines is 8th, then in 9th position is Jason Hughes. Rob Collard is currently in 10th place. Fiona Leggett's dropped back again a little bit, so she has dropped out of that top 10 position. She's in the pits, in fact, so obviously problems with that car. Whether it was because of the accident that she had with Collard, I don't know, but she's not going to be starting up at the front for race number 3. It looks as though pole position will go to Rob Collard, which is what he was working for, I'm sure. But pole position or not, it's the championship that this man came to win here today. And Matt Neal is now on his final lap, following Dan Eves and Jason Plato. It looks as though Plato's all set to take victory for Seat. It's been a little bit of a drought for Seat this year in terms of wins compared to last season. This will be his 3rd win. He won 7 races last year. Things have really come good for them in this final meeting. But all the attention is surely going to be on Team Halford and on Matt Neal. Dan Eves and Matt Neal running absolutely together. I think they're going to virtually cross the line together, Tim.
Yeah, very fitting. They should have a double podium in this race when Matt clinches the championship, and it reflects the season they've had so far. But also not to take anything away from Jason Plato, who drove aggressively at the start, made good pass, and deserves to win this race.
Yep, there's no doubt. Plato's driven well all day so far. He's overtook a lot of cars in race 1. He's moved up from 3rd on the grid to win this one, and James Pickford has also moved up in this race too. He's in 6th place. But the story of the day is that Matt Neal is going to take the title here in the 2nd race of the day. They're through the last corner now, and Jason Plato is going to take victory in round 29 of the championship. But Matt Neal is the British Touring Car Champion of 2005. He's done it. He's done it. An independence team has taken Matt Neal to the title, and not just any independence team. It's his family-run team. There is Steve Neal, and what a moment it is for all of the guys. They've worked so hard over this year, for his mechanics, Kevin Owen and Richard Townsend as well, for Alex Somerset, who designed the car and acts as his race engineer, for the whole team, for Ollie Collins, the young team manager. What an achievement this is for all of them, Tim.
It's a fantastic achievement, and there we go. There's Matt. I'm sure he's got a lump in his throat. I only ever had a lump in my throat twice with emotion, once on winning this championship in '92, once finishing my first Le Mans, and I am absolutely sure he's got the same. The whole team absolutely ecstatic and thoroughly deserved. Nobody can take this away from them.
No, he's done it now. And this was the moment as he crossed the line, and he knew it was there. So the result, Plato takes victory from Dan Eves and Matt Neal. Gareth Howell 4th ahead of Gavin Smith, James Pickford, James Kay, then Luke Hines in 8th, Jason Hughes in 9th, and Rob Collard did work it okay. He is in 10th place. He will start from pole position for race 3. But all eyes are on Matt Neal. He is the new champion.
So Matt Neal becomes the first independent to win the British Touring Car Championship in 14 years. After the break, we will be talking to the man himself and taking a look back at where and how the title was won.
Ivan Muller makes a good start on the outside. The Frenchman's going for it. We said he had to, and he's going to try and take the lead into the first corner.
Matt Neal coming through just too quickly, running out of road. Just out on the grass. Fortunately not hitting that tyre barrier.
He's taking a gamble. He's gone past Smith. Look at that! Matt Neal and Ivan Muller actually touched there.
Muller's got a puncture. Muller's got a left front puncture from that contact down the hill.
And that's
look,
it.
there it goes. That's the championship over.
He's done it. He's done it. An independence team has taken Matt Neal to the title, and not just any independence team. It's his family-run team.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where Matt Neal has already secured his first ever Drivers' Championship. Still one more race to bring you, and Matt is in 8th position on the grid, with Rob Collard on pole by virtue of finishing 10th in round 29. Now, at the start of lap 2, there was a major incident involving Ivan Muller, Dan Eves and Jason Plato, which resulted in all 3 of them being taken out of the race. Nobody was hurt. There's the in-car. Oof, not nice. And there's a sad Ivan Muller. The safety car came out of course, and we can now join the race live, where the safety car is still out.
Fifth place, Jason Hughes follows them as they go up. So heading up towards Druids, and the battle continues between them. Down the hill, it's Collard who leads. Second place for Pickford, Hines in third, then it's Matt Neal in fourth place, with Gavin Smith right behind him, and Rob Collard's got to try and open up the gap that he'd built in the early stages of this race before the safety car intervened. There is Gareth Howell. He was running in 9th place. I think he's just gained 8th position, passing Richard Williams in the Lexus.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, don't forget. He did start from the back of the grid because of his penalty after race 2. The safety car helped close up the gap, but he has got to be careful passing people. He's already had 2 visits to the Clark of the course this weekend.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to get into any more trouble. You're watching from the race leader looking, oh, it's a second place man, James Pickford, and through Westfield corner, the back end of the Seat broke away a little, and Pickford held on to it beautifully well. That MG is so good around these fast corners at Brands Hatch, and that's allowing Rob Collard to ease away just a little bit. There's a move for James Kay, and he's managed to get past Ian Curley, I think. Gareth Howell also making progress. He might be one to watch. Had a fastest lap earlier on today. New race distance is 17 laps as a result of the safety car being out there.
And Pickford really pushing very, very hard. He doesn't want to get Collard, let him get away. Collard made a good restart, but Pickford's gone with him. Collard sets the fastest lap of the race on that lap, and Pickford just shy, only a 1/10 of a second.
Just hops the curb at Paddock, and the car just lifts briefly onto its 2 outside wheels, but no problem there at all. Look at Matt Neal. Now, all the pressures of winning the championship are off his shoulders. He is attacking for 3rd place. He wants to get past Luke Hines, but that Seat's quick, a little tiny fraction wide on the corner. Whether that will give Matt Neal a chance, I don't know. In towards the tight left-hander at Surtees, and Hines goes in deep. Matt takes his typical tighter line turning in. Yeah,
I'd love to measure how many feet or yards he saves over the course of a normal lap just by going in tighter than everybody else, but it's certainly a measurable amount because he does it everywhere. There's Jason Plato. We're watching the screens now with Seat boss Scott Dennis, and well, he's watching their 2 young chargers, and wouldn't he like to see them get a good result?
Yeah, it's time for them to do the business now, isn't it? But can they do anything about Rob Collard, who's leading this race? And can Luke Hines defend from Matt Neal? Behind Matt Neal, it's the Vauxhall of Gavin Smith. And poor Gavin, who had a 2nd place in the bag earlier on today, only to let Ivan Muller through and then be boxed out by everybody else. A chance for him, perhaps, to get a good result to finish off the season. Colin Turkington in the other Vauxhall is running in 6th, then it's Gareth Howell in 7th place. Jason Hughes in 8th, then Richard Williams in 9th, and James Kay in 10th. We're looking back from race leader.
Yeah, Gavin Smith in the Vauxhalls looked like a different driver in the car this weekend. I don't know whether it's him or whether it's contract time or what it is, but he's absolutely flying. He's really, really going well.
Yeah, it's good to see, and he feels more confident. He says the car is feeling fantastic this weekend, and he feels he can really make progress with it every time he goes out, which is a good feeling. And he's right in there behind these guys. Luke Hines in the Seat, having to get a little defensive now because Matt Neal is definitely bearing down on him. And then, as you say, Gavin Smith not far behind, and looking for any chance he can to knit through as well. Wide line taken by Luke Hines there, but no real challenge from Matt Neal.
No, and watch them out onto the straight. Matt Neal gets good drive, but that Seat running quite light. Down the straight, it's good in the speed traps, and you can see Matt Neal gaining nothing despite the slipstream. If anything, the Seat pulling away. But then on the brakes and through the fast corners, the BTCC spec Honda Integra, well, certainly if it stays on the track like that, gains considerably on Hines, and Hines is starting to look a bit flustered.
He is, he's just getting rattled. Luke wasn't very well yesterday. He had some sort of food poisoning, and you wonder whether that's affecting him a little. He's got so much pressure on him here from the champion Matt Neal that it's not proving at all easy. Lights ablaze on Matt's car. That's one of his favourite tricks, just to keep the pressure on. Great run out of Sterling's, but Hines sensibly goes to the right to defend the line into clearways, and again that Seat is fast in a straight line.
It is. I mean, Matt's looking for a little mistake here in the corner like that to lose momentum. Well, he was going to carry his speed and try and get down the inside. He's been forced to go around the outside because Hines made a mistake, but this is going to be tough. He's got to concede to Hines. Will he try and cut back inside on the run up to Druids? He takes the curb, touches a fraction. Oh, well held.
And Gavin Smith's got past him. Gavin Smith has gone past both of them, or he's tried to. He's going around the outside at the hairpin, and he's going to try and do two in one go. What a great move from the Irishman, taking advantage if he can hold him off. Yeah, he says, oi, I'm going to have this place. Oh, and now Matt Neal's down the inside there. Hines goes sideways, gets it back together again. Oh, it's all happening this time.
Well, Matt Neal, to his credit, at Paddock, did back out of the throttle very quickly, and Luke Hines did a great job to save it, but Gavin Smith coming through a full chap past them both. Fantastic driving by Gavin Smith, real opportunist passing.
As you say, he is driving out of his skin this weekend, is Gavin Smith. And now look at Gareth Howell, he's tucked in behind Luke Hines, also eager to get into some of this action. Well, he's been in the action quite a lot himself. He's got to keep his nose clean, and behind him is the Vauxhall of Colin Turkington. These guys all racing very hard. Down through Dingledale they go, and up through Sheen Curve now, and Rob Collard continues to lead this race. 9.5 laps out of the 17 have been completed. We're on lap 10, and Collard's lead just a half a second from James Pickford in second place. Matt Neal now, though, in fighting, he is fourth place because Gavin Smith is in third. So Gavin Smith in third place, then it's Matt Neal. And now we've got a good chance for Gareth Howell as he tries to get alongside Luke Hines. Couldn't make it happen there. And now as they come across the line, he'll have a think into Paddock Hill Bend. But look how close the two leaders are. Collard's got his mirrors full.
Yeah, Pickford's right on him. He's now in sniffing distance. Rob Collard's always struggled with a little bit too much understeer at the end of the races. His style works the front tyres very hard. Maybe Pickford's just looked after his fractionally better. But certainly now he's got to the situation where Collard is going to have to start defending fairly soon.
We've just seen a move as well behind Colin Turkington, I think, has passed Gareth Howell for sixth place, just behind those guys. But Rob Collard still under some serious pressure from James Pickford. Up towards Hawthorns they go, fastest section of the track here, 135 miles an hour, and then a dab on the brake into the right-hander and out, trying not to run on the grass on the exit, and Collard making no mistakes so far.
Now Pickford's got to try everything he can, but Rob Collard, he's a veteran of stock car racing, ovals, BTCC, he's done it all, and he knows how to soak up the pressure.
Yeah, he loves this sort of position. He enjoys being in that controlling position. He likes harrying other people as well and forcing them into a mistake, but he looks very solid, and it's going to be up to James Pickford to try and find just a little gap, a little opportunity to knit through, and he's going to have to go for it when it does come, if it comes at all. Out they come of clearways this time, and this will be to complete 11 laps. They'll go on to lap 12 out of 17. Nothing to choose between the MG and the Seat. This independently run MG, run by WSR. They've run it on a very, very restricted budget this year, but it just shows you what you can do.
Yeah, I think he wants to stay with this team and do it again next year. They think they can find a little bit more speed, but certainly for Rob, who's always run his own team, it's been a breath of fresh air for him to just concentrate on his driving and not have to worry about running the team, tyre pressures, feeding everybody, tickets, and goodness knows what else. He's just concentrated on his driving, and I think it's shown in his results.
So Rob Collard leads, Pickford, then Smith, under a bit of attack here for third place from Matt Neal. On board with Matt, ahead of him is the Vauxhall of Gavin Smith, he's running in third position. Then it's Luke Hines, Gareth Howell, Colin Turkington, and you could see in the background that Gareth Howell is also on the attack once again, trying to get past the Seat of Luke Hines. But Matt Neal's looking the most dangerous. Here we are, coming up behind Gavin Smith through Hawthorns, now into Westfield. This is where we see one or two make a little mistake. If they hit the curb too hard, then they can be thrown offline, but that was neat and tidy.
Yeah, there's a nasty bump just after the curb as well, which actually throws them. These cars, all front-wheel drive, getting a little bit of a bounce on through there. We've seen several cars get sideways through there, and you lose a lot of momentum. But Neal's recovered from that little clash he had earlier on with Hines, and he's recovered the time that he lost to Gavin Smith, and now that they're going to battle it out for this last place on the podium.
So, as they cross the line this time, 12 laps completed, Rob Collard leads from James Pickford, whilst Gavin Smith and Matt Neal battle for third. Up the hill they come once more, and this is the view from Rob Collard, and James Pickford continues to harry him but again, he's not quite close enough on the run to the next corner, which is where he might try to outbrake. It's always a bit risky into that one. The next one is where you want a good run, that's why he's going over the curve, but again, the MG's just fast enough in a straight line to fend him off.
Yeah, Rob's using all of the road, no more than he has to, but certainly using every single inch. Precision driving. It looks like Pickford's trying harder and harder to stay with him.
Look at this, Matt Neal has got alongside Gavin Smith, and Smith is on his right-hand side here.
Well, let's hope they don't have a clash like he did with Muller. It's in exactly the same place. Here they come down. Smith does the right thing, stays on the inside. He knows that Matt Neal can't get inside him into the corner, but can Matt Neal cut down back inside before they get to Westfield? No, they can't.
Oh, this is good racing. And Gavin Smith showing that he can race with the very best in the British Touring Car Championship. The very best this year, because it's Matt Neal, our new champion, and yet Gavin Smith is not phased. Look at those two leaders, and Pickford, oh, he's got a chance to get alongside this time as they run down towards Clearways. They are side by side, and Pickford's ahead. Pickford's ahead. Will Collard try and squeeze him? Oh, they contact at Clearways. They're still side by side. Pickford's on the grass. He recovers, and the horns blare from the fans on the outside of Clearways. They had a great view of that, and Collard stays ahead.
Well, that so nearly came off for James Pickford. It looked on the approach to Clearways that he'd actually got a whole car length in front and could have pulled over, but he chose to take the racing line. Watch this. Oh, Collard, yeah, we missed the start of that. It was beautifully held by Pickford, I have to say, but it looked like he could have closed the door, but he tried to take the racing line, and Rob was fighting back. Look at that, he could have moved over in front of him, but Rob fights back on that limited braking area, and contact's inevitable.
Collard is so determined to hold on to this, isn't he? He was always going to fight back if the door was left open, and that's exactly what he did. Third place battle still going on here between Gavin Smith and Matt Neal. It's still tight between these two, but at the moment, Gavin Smith, in his first full season of touring cars, remember, is doing a fine job of fending off Matt Neal. There's smoke from Matt Neal's car now. Look at that, Matt Neal has tyre smoke coming from the right front, and he had slow puncture, we gather, in that race than he clashed with Ivan Muller, and I reckon he may be in more trouble this time.
Yeah, that's definitely tyre smoke rubbing on the bodywork. He did have a little rub earlier in the race, maybe it's just touching. If you can see, it's not smoking now, it just smokes under compression and on certain points, but it'll quickly wear away. I don't think that'll be a problem. We haven't seen the other side of the car. But back to Rob Collard. I think Rob feels he's taken so much throughout the year, and he has been the victim on many, many occasions. When it comes to it, he wasn't going to be pushed around, and he just stuck his nose back in where there was a door open.
Matt Neal moves out of the way. He lets Gareth Howell come through. He lets Colin Turkington come through. Does he? No, he doesn't let him through so easily. He lets his teammate through pretty easily. So Gareth Howell is now up into fourth place. Here comes Colin Turkington trying to do likewise. He's on the outside of Matt Neal, but they're still side by side. Nope, Neal holds on to it, so he doesn't let the Vauxhall through. He's going to try and protect that position despite a car that's not working at its best, obviously.
Well, this is probably where the contact happened. Yeah, the Vauxhall, well, it's just a view of the smoker, but it appears to have gone away now, so I do think it was just a tyre rub, but otherwise Matt would have pulled off.
So he's still running. He's in fifth place, still with some pressure on from Colin Turkington now in the Vauxhall. Let's remind you, it's Rob Collard still leading this race, but second place is James Pickford. Recovered brilliantly after that slide at Clearways. Third position is Gavin Smith. Fourth, there he is, Gareth Howell. Fifth now is our new champion, Matt Neal. And then in sixth place is Turkington. Seventh is Luke Hines. Then it's James Kay. Kay running in eighth position. Jason Hughes is behind them. He's in ninth place. And then in 10th place, it's Richard Williams in the Lexus. Fiona Leggett is in 11th. Andy Neat is 12th. Ian Curley 13th. And Mark Proctor currently in 14th position as James Kay keeps pushing up the hill towards the Sheen curve. The old Dingle Dell keeps pushing on Luke Hines. There's only a couple of laps to go as they come around this time. Rob Collard will come through to complete another lap, and his advantage 1.8 seconds over James Pickford. 15 laps completed. We go on to lap 16 out of 17, and Rob Collard's looking good for his second win of the year.
Yeah, Pickford hasn't given up. Look, there he is in shot. He was fractionally quicker than Rob Collard in that last lap, and he hasn't given up. But I think Rob has got enough in hand just to stroke it through this last couple of laps.
Well, let's hope so, because he's driven very well, and He deserves another victory after all the efforts he's put in this year, and for the team as well. They've run this as a single car entry, and I would know that Dick Bennett knows and feels what they could have done with a little bit more money this year. A lot of engine development work that they know is possible. They could have got more out of it if they'd had the money to spend, and with that they probably would have been up there even more often than they have been. Collard has always fought his way through to the front, and it looks as though he may be on for his second win here. Pickford in second position as they come through that back section at Westfield. Luke Hines and James Kay are still racing hard for 7th position, but everybody else now beginning to get a little spaced out in these closing stages. A race that saw true drama earlier on. That big crash between Dan Eves, Ivan Muller and Jason Plato took out 3 of the favourites from this race. It means that Ivan Muller is going to take 2nd place in the championship, but sadly we lost some of the most exciting racers from this particular one. I suppose it's always going to happen sometime, but Matt Neal is, I think, going to finish this race, and that will mean he's finished every single race this year, and I think that's just a remarkable achievement in itself. He's managed to stay out of trouble, and even today, when he's had a bit of tyre smoke coming off the car, he's all set for another race finish. But it's Rob Collard who looks set himself to take the last win of the year. Yeah, we're going to have, if all stays as it is, we're going to have one old boy and 2 real youngsters on the podium with Rob Collard up there. Not much hair left on Rob. Pickford and Smith driven really well this last race, and but for a little bit of chance, Pickford could have won. So he heads around. I gather that I think Hines has got a problem, but Luke Hines, who was pushing for 7th place, across out of 30s they come. It's Rob Collard with a very useful advantage over James Pickford. 3rd place still for Gavin Smith. It's going to be another good race result for Smith, and he'll be pleased to have got on the podium after what happened in the 2nd race here today. So Gavin Smith in 3rd, Howell in 4th, Matt Neal in 5th place. But the last win of the year, a little bit of controversy again, as ever, in British touring cars. I wonder what Rob Collard and James Pickford will say to each other after that little incident. But Collard held on. He wasn't about to be beaten that easily, and the door was left open, and Rob Collard came through, snatched back the lead that he'd had from the very start when he started up front on his own, and it is Collard who is going to take victory. He wins the 30th and final race of the British Touring Car Championship of 2005. Collard takes victory. 2nd place goes to James Pickford. 3rd place will go to Gavin Smith, and our new champion Matt Neal finishes down in 5th. He's trying to go down the inside. Oh, there's contact, he's hit! That was Muller who hit Eves. The 2 who were battling for the 2nd place in the championship. Oh, what a shame. Oh, and now Matt Neal's down the inside there. Collard try and squeeze him. Oh, they make contact to clear ways. They're still side by side. Pickford's on the grass. He recovers. Collard takes victory. 2nd place goes to James Pickford. 3rd place will go to Gavin Smith, and our new champion Matt Neal finishes down in 5th.
So the last race of the year was won by Rob Collard. 2nd place goes to James Pickford, and 3rd to Gavin Smith. This is how the final Drivers' Championship looks. Here we go. So Matt Neal there, 315 points from Ivan Muller. A very, very happy Matt Neal. Now over to the podium.
27, Dominique Kovac, 16 and 27 are 17th and 18th on the grid, and then 19th and 20th.
The coveted title is on the top step of the podium. On the top step of the podium is the BTCC Series Director, Alan Gow, and also on the top step of the podium is the champion for 2005. Alan, I'd like you to please bend down and pick up the trophy and award it with a massive Brands Hatch cheer to the 2005 champion, Matt Neal.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic, and I have to tell you that Matt has just put a whole bottle of champagne down his back. Those over a very, very, very deserving champion, and He's going to spray some champagne. Well, that's it from us for another season. From the torrential rain at Knockhill in Scotland to the sunshine at Thruxton in Hampshire, we've raced over 1,000 miles, covering more than 500 laps, brought you 9 different race winners and a brand new champion in Matt Neal. From everybody here at a very champagne-filled Brands Hatch, everyone on the ITV team, thanks for watching. Goodbye.